Yeah, Duane, you, I read in the book you ridicule the idea of the savior, of the idea that someone would die on the cross for others and to absolve them of their sins, their shortcomings. That is total folly. And in fact, it is what Christendom and the other affiliated religions, they all seem to believe in. This idea of a savior doesn't resonate with you, but don't you think you are a kind of savior too? Um, for instance, you brought out um, the new song, brought it right from the real universes, given to you by the real guides, and you've written these books, the new books, and a lot of material to sort of save people from themselves and from the matrix. Don't you think if the word savior were reinterpreted in the light of the new presentation, that you're the new savior? What do you say about that?
Well, that sounds kind of funny. I would say I might be the copyright savior. Okay, funny. Even though I don't copyright the material, no. But well, realistically, when I first created the first website with GoDaddy, it simply said that I am sharing my real experiences with, Rebazar and the boys and the Universal Guides. And so that's really how I see it. Okay. So it is really a sharing. It's not about a savior, but I'm simply sharing what I've come to recognize. I like that much better, you see. And it's kind of like, a family. You have a family. You have the husband, the wife, and the children. And is the dad a savior to the wife and the children? Well, maybe, but realistically, it's a real position that, we're all in the same life. And this is the best part. And it's all endless for each of us. Here, it's crowded, all right, because we have bodies that bump into each other. We have things and what have you. We got to go around them and we got to drive on the street and all these things. But in our real awareness. So, yeah, I looked at all of this and these ideas that have been played upon, and it's easy to use those things, and people will cater to them because the basic idea, I see it from the view of the unaware masses, and that is that they're looking for someone or something, and if it's someone, it's possibly better, like Jesus, to take care of them, to decide for them, to comfort them, all these things that seem so nice and sweet, and love them and all this, want to be loved and all these things. You see, so again, that just sets up a position of people staying dependent upon the ideas of a person. You see, it's like people look to Jesus as an example, or Muhammad or Buddha or whatever. It's not the person so much they're looking to, it's the idea of the person that they've created that creates this dependence on nothing. They've got nothing with it. And they'll end up with nothing, especially when they go to the real side. They're expecting that Jesus will be there with all the disciples and God and meet them and everything will be glorious. Well, that's a production in the movies here, but realistically, no, he's probably off doing something else, etc. Everybody is, and it's just not happening. So again, you have a lot of phenomena that's been created as deception by the world controllers. That's all it is. Compare everything here to the sun shining, and then figure it out realistically. it's not that hard, and it's so much better. So again, it's about real freedom. It's not about more restrictions. And so the savior idea, yes, that's just foo-foo. And again, I'm just doing my part, having my adventure. And again, the new man is new management. That's all. And no one's obligated. No one has to do anything. But this is my focus. This is what I'm doing. And I'm doing it for everyone. It's me. I don't want anything. I'm fine with the isness life is. But I see the struggle that people are going through in creation. So I've decided a much bigger picture with others that see it also, that step up, and we all support each other. And we're doing it, especially on the real side where it comes to here. But, you know, again, you have to learn, recognize, and understand the difference between the physical part of ourselves that's very hardcore and struggling. That's all it is. And especially now with this poison planet that's being destroyed, and the real side, and the endless areas of the real side that can be related to, you see? And what's so cool is it's all here and now, and there is no burden or anything like that that a person has to carry, because it's an isness, it's now, and simply recognize your restrictions, let them go, and do something real that makes sense with what's taking place now. See, that's really us, Charles, and what the world has agreed to and what has been created previously. Well, that's really all funny stuff, and where does it go? It sounds good, but the end result is, where does it go? So the love idea, that's personal. Love your family, love your friends, but overall, the sun shining, that's so much better. The personal love is actually restriction, is all it is. It goes so far, and that's it. It comes and goes. But the isness life is endless, and there are no restrictions. There's no emotional love with the isness life is. That only deals with the personal self to wanting to make itself comfortable. And we do that. We say hi to our neighbors, whatever, as long as we're here. But when you're in the real universes, there's no such thing. And that's all here now too. So again, do we need more restrictions or less? So do we need a savior? Well, some people do, because they haven't figured it out yet. So, you know, let them have their savior, but it's all in their mind. Nobody can save anybody. There's no such thing. Even the boys can't save anybody if they agree to their own illusions. It's like Paul said, Paul made the phrase, there's no truth greater than a lie if a lie is what you wish to believe, you see. And so again, each person decides their reality. But the best part is that the isness is so much more than anything you can consider. That's the best part. That's where your real freedom, and even better than that lies, is recognizing that you cannot consider it, because it is what it is. So much for saviors, Charles.
Napoleon is often quoted as saying that men are led by toys. And this very much applies to the modern world, where we have titles, decorations, initiation levels, designations, branding, and all the like. And this motivates people to do more on the social, religious, political, and maybe spiritual levels. My attention was heightened during a conversation in the past week with a Congo new friend. He told me how the new friends at a gathering were saying, comparing Mariam and me. I said, Mariam is the new leader and Charles is only a new leader. So whatever Mariam says should carry more weight. So I want to ask this question, then. You have made these designations. You have a new leader, you have new leader you have DR, or direct representative, and maybe others that I'm yet to be aware of. So the question is, are there some kind of initiation levels which will be puzzling, knowing that you've openly repudiated this idea? So are all these designations some kind of disguised initiations? Duane?
No, nothing's disguised. Okay, so the thing is that it's like Val is dean of the Nations United Universal University. So again, just something that's utilized and designated. That's all. So I see these different positions, and that it's like anything here. We're in a business world, and this is the part that we play the business game. Is all it is. It's kind of this is a business here. All right. The Nupresentation is a business. It's not holy. It's not spiritual. It's not all these things. It's just a business. That's all. It's a corporation. And that's just very real. It's just simply something utilized in this world for people to relate to, and the individuals that relate to it in a particular way. You might say that it's not according to me, all right? It's according to whatever is. So if one bird flies faster than the other, okay, so we call that bird, oh, he's the fast bird, okay, because he flies faster. But there's no difference between the so-called slower birds and the fast bird. There's no difference. It's just that he's the fast bird. That's his name. It's just like Bill or Sue or Susie. That's Bill, Sue, or Susie. And so these positions, these so-called labels or whatever, it's kind of like each person, you might say, earns their own way. And so from my view, because I'm management, I'm Numan, I'm management, I see that, oh, okay, well, you can be a supervisor because you stepped up and you've earned your way. In other words, that individual decided that, you see? That individual decided that. And so it's like Kelsey or anybody else, they've decided their positions, and I see it a particular way. Where does it fit in the business of the Nupresentation? It's something kind of like that. And so it's just, we're just playing the game so that when those people that look at us, seeing it from their view, it's like, okay, well, who's who here, whatever. Okay, well, see, there's Dr. Dr. Kelsey. They're thinking doctor, but it's really direct representative, etc. So she has a position to relate to. Dean has one. I have one. Ava has one, etc. Miriam, etc. So these things are just kind of playing the game with this label world. People like labels. And so we just play the game with the labels. But we're all really free beings of real light. We're just playing our role here. That's all, you see. And when Paul was here, he played the master role. But on the real side, he doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. That was just for those times. But yet, when Joni took over, she utilized that and kept it going with Darwin and Harold, and to where it is now, she kept that master idea going. Well, when I came on board and I recognized the is for what it is, I was to do this, and I was given the opportunity, and I had decided how to do it. I decided how to figure it out. So this is what I saw, and I didn't want to go that route. I didn't want to use those labels because they have certain references and they have a certain gathering of ideas, and especially tap lines to them, that really are just simply restrictions. So, again, everybody kind of earns their way accordingly. And I've been told certain things by the boys at Rebazar, etc., on the real side, because, I've earned my way to certain positions. And so this is all it is. We, as our real awareness, that has nothing to do with that. That is just something that we identify with in creation so that we have something to identify with. That's all. But nobody's better or worse, higher or lower. There's no such thing. Again, if a person's a taxi cab driver or if he's a chef or a cook in a restaurant. So you say, oh, he's the cook at the restaurant, you see? That's really all it is. It's just something that that person's decided to do. So because of what Miriam did and how she stepped up in the beginning, and she brought all these people along, which was huge. Okay, so I saw what I saw, and then I just simply designated that for her. But then again, she don't have to accept it. She doesn't accept anything. But that's just how I saw it. So, that's up to her. So this is what we're doing here. We're kind of playing this little game, so we kind of know who's who, you might say. But it doesn't mean everybody else is nothing. No. But the idea is that every person steps up and proves themselves. This is the reality of what's taking place now. Just like the military. We're in a military world. And a person starts off as a private, and they earn their stripes, you might say, and they're given stripes, and it's recognized by others. Oh, gee, you're a sergeant now, or you're a captain, or whatever. And there was one experience when Sandy and Bob were going to if I remember correctly, were going to the seminar of last year and pass out some things. And on the real side, Bob shared his experience, and he was referred to as the private. You see, it's like he's starting out here with the confrontation. And so again, the boys kind of designated that. And so again, each person earns their position. But it's not like initiations or whatever, etc. No, each person decides their position, what they want to be. And I just see it from, how I do. So I see that, as Miriam, as an example, new leader is, that she has a certain awareness with her that she recognizes, and that this is kind of noted so that others can have an opportunity to recognize that too. That's all. So again, we're just kind of playing with these ideas to get through this, to provide a real education. The big view is a real education for everyone else. See, as people step up, this is what most people don't understand. Everything equals itself. So when you have the courage to step up and step aside from that personal life of yours and really do something and really face this world, well, this is where the reality of life allows itself, you allow it to come in, and it allows itself to come in, because it can't come in if you don't allow it, if you don't step up, if you stay the same, self-convinced in your little world. Well, it can't expose itself and you don't see it. So you wonder what's going on. So it's always taking the risk. Every single moment you learn to take the risk with what life is, and then everything equals itself. This is what people don't get. And so again, it's just playing with the ideas and what I see. And again, nobody's obligated. No one has to accept it. That's all it is, Charles. Yes, and it's like Val. I see him as the dean, but he don't have to do it, but he's doing it. That's up to him. So, giving that person an opportunity, like your children, you give them certain opportunities so that they can start to see things and start to do better. That's the whole idea. Everybody does better. So something along those lines. But there's no difference between any of us. We each make a choice. And those that step up, they step up. Those that don't, a lot of people just hang around. And that's what they are. They just hang around. And it's shown on the real side too. They don't have a purpose yet. They don't understand why they're here. But those that have can recognize a real purpose, they decide and they demonstrate how to stand real with the real guides and the all is. And it doesn't mean that they're 100% there. No, nobody is. I'm not either, simply because it's endless. What percentage are we at? But my intent is 100% to continually more so perceive this reality, because it's endless. So again, each person picks their position, and they're giving you might say a pat on the back or something that refers to that for that time, etc. And it used to be the initiations. And no, we're not going through that or levels or up and down. It's just a point of recognition, and the individual, they decide how much better it's going to be or what they're going to do with it, or if they agree or not, whatever.